ladies and gentlemen. Let me start with a truth that will set the tone for everything I'm about to say. You are enough, right here, right now, exactly as you are. But here's the problem. We live in a world that has convinced too many of us to beg for scraps of love, attention, and opportunities, chasing after things and people that aren't chasing us. It's time to stop. Every day we have a choice. We can either chase approval or we can choose purpose. We can either pour ourselves into relationships, jobs, or dreams that don't give back, or we can stand tall and say, if it's not for me, I don't want it. You see, self-worth is non-negotiable. When you choose things that don't choose you, you send a signal to the world, to others, and worst of all, to yourself that you don't believe you're worthy of more. That you'll settle for the crumbs instead of the feast. But let me tell you something, you were not born to starve in any part of your life. There's a reason rejection stings. It's life's way of steering you back onto the path of what's rightfully yours. So when something or someone doesn't choose you, don't take it as a failure. Take it as a divine nudge. A reminder that your energy is too valuable to waste on what isn't meant for you. Let me ask you this, would you spend your hard-earned money on something broken, something that doesn't serve you, something that will only drain you? Of course not. Yet so many of us spend the most precious currency we have, our energy, our time, our spirit, on people, dreams, and situations that do nothing but take. Here's the truth, you're not for everyone, and not everything is for you. And that's okay. What's not okay is lowering your standards because you're afraid of being alone. What's not okay is choosing comfort over courage or fear over faith. When you stop chasing what isn't choosing you, something incredible happens. You start attracting what is. You create space for opportunities that align with your values, people who see your worth, and dreams that honor your potential. But you've got to trust the process. You've got to believe that what's meant for you will never require you to beg, to force, or to compromise your integrity. So today, make the decision, walk away from what isn't choosing you, release it with love, but release it, and as you do, stand tall. Not because you're giving up, but because you're leveling up. The world is waiting for the best version of you, but that version can't exist if you keep choosing things that don't choose you. So choose wisely, choose boldly, and above all, choose yourself. Self-worth is the foundation of everything you will ever accomplish, the compass that guides your choices, and the shield that protects your heart. It is not something others can grant you, nor is it something they have the power to take away. It is a birthright, unshakable and unchanging, but only if you allow yourself to truly own it. Too often, people base their sense of worth on external validation, on what others say, on the opportunities they're given, or on the relationships they're in. But here's the truth, when your self-worth depends on anything outside of you, it's fragile. It becomes a reflection of the unpredictable nature of life, swayed by opinions, circumstances, and the choices of others. Real self-worth comes from within. It's the unwavering belief that you are enough, not because of what you do or what you have, but because of who you are at your core. When you see your worth as negotiable, you leave yourself at the mercy of the world. You settle for jobs that don't respect your time, relationships that don't honor your heart, and situations that slowly chip away at your soul. You become someone who tolerates less because you've convinced yourself that less is all you deserve. But that's a lie. The world doesn't set your worth, you do. There's power in recognizing that you are the one who decides what is acceptable in your life. When you hold firm to the belief that your worth is non-negotiable, you create boundaries. And those boundaries aren't walls to keep others out, they're fences to protect what is sacred within you. They ensure that only the people, opportunities, and experiences that align with your value system are allowed to occupy space in your life. You might worry that holding yourself to this standard will mean losing people or opportunities along the way. And you're right, it will. But let me tell you something, losing what doesn't serve you isn't a loss, it's a gift. Every time you say no to something beneath you, you're saying yes to something better. It's not about arrogance or selfishness, it's about honoring the life you were meant to live. Your worth is not defined by someone choosing you, a job hiring you, or an achievement validating you. Those things are fleeting, they're external. True self-worth doesn't waver when you face rejection. It doesn't crumble when things don't go your way. Instead, it stands strong, reminding you that rejection is simply redirection, that every closed door is an opportunity to find a better path. When you believe that your worth is non-negotiable, you operate differently. You walk into rooms with confidence, not desperation. You approach relationships with clarity, not neediness. You pursue your goals with a sense of purpose and purpose, not fear. You stop apologizing for taking up space in the world and start demanding the respect you deserve, not through words, but through the way you carry yourself. Remember this, you teach the world how to treat you. When you accept less, you give others permission to offer less. But when you stand firm in your value, you inspire those around you to rise to your level or to step aside. Either way, you win. Your self-worth is not a negotiation. It's not a debate. It's a declaration. This is who I am. This is what I deserve. And I will not settle for anything less. The moment you truly embrace that, your entire life begins to shift. You stop chasing and you start attracting, you stop settling and you start soaring, and in doing so, you become a living example of what it means to honor yourself fully and unapologetically. Your energy is one of the most valuable resources you have. It's more than your physical strength or stamina. It's your emotional focus, your mental clarity, and your spiritual vibrancy. Energy isn't infinite, yet many of us treat it as if it is. We spend it without thought, invest it where there's no return, and then wonder why we feel so drained, so empty, so far from where we want to be. Think about it, just like money, energy flows, and just like money, where and how you use it determines what you get back. Every conversation you engage in, every task you undertake, every thought you entertain, it all requires energy. The question is, are you spending it in places that add value to your life, or are you wasting it on things that leave you depleted? The truth is, where your energy goes, your life grows. If you pour your energy into negativity, into toxic relationships, meaningless arguments, or self-doubt, you're essentially making an investment in more of the same. You're building a life rooted in chaos and lack, but if you channel your energy into things that elevate you into meaningful connections, personal growth, or pursuing your purpose, you start to see abundance. You start to feel empowered because your energy is creating momentum in the direction of your dreams. Too many people live their lives in an energetic deficit. They give too much to people who don't give back. They focus on problems instead of solutions. They allow their energy to be siphoned off by distractions, fears, and obligations that don't serve them. But your energy isn't limitless. If you don't protect it, if you don't spend it wisely, you'll find yourself running on empty, and when you're empty, you have nothing left to give to the things that truly matter. Imagine your energy as a bank account. Every time you say yes to something, every time you engage with someone, you're making a withdrawal. The question is, are you getting a return on that investment? Are you spending your energy in a way that enriches your life, or are you throwing it away on things that keep you stuck? Just like with money, you need to budget your energy. You need to set priorities and make sure that your energy is being used to build the kind of life you want, not the kind of life you're trying to escape. But here's the catch, your energy doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone around you. Think about the last time you walked into a room where the atmosphere felt heavy, or when you spent time with someone who left you feeling drained. That's the power of energy. It's contagious. When you're intentional about where you place your energy, you don't just elevate your own life, you elevate the lives of those around you. It's not selfish to protect your energy, it's essential. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't be your best self for yourself, for others, if you're constantly giving your energy away to things that don't matter. And protecting your energy doesn't mean you're closing yourself off or being unkind. It means you're choosing to honor what's important. It means you're saying no to what drains you so you can say yes to what fuels you. And think about the people and situations in your life right now. Are they adding to your energy or subtracting from it? Are they inspiring you or exhausting you? It's not about blaming others or feeling guilty. It's about taking responsibility for how you show up in the world. It's about recognizing that your energy is your currency and you have the power to spend it wisely. When you start treating your energy as the precious resource it is, your life changes. You stop chasing after things that don't matter. You stop giving time and attention to people who don't value you. Instead, you focus on what lights you up, what moves you forward, what makes you feel alive. And in doing so, you not only create a better life for yourself, you become a source of light and strength for others. Your energy is your power. Use it wisely, spend it intentionally, and watch as your life begins to reflect the value of every moment, every interaction, and every choice you make. Rejection is often misunderstood. It feels personal, like a blow to your confidence, an insult to your value, or a closed door that was meant to be your gateway. But rejection isn't the end, it's a course correction. It's not the universe telling you no, but rather whispering, not here, not this, not now. It's a detour designed to guide you towards something better if only you have the courage to see it that way. When you face rejection, the immediate instinct is to internalize it. You question yourself. You wonder what you lacked, why you weren't good enough, or why things didn't go the way you envisioned. But rejection isn't about what you lack, it's about alignment. It's the world's way of saying that where you were heading wasn't the destination meant for you. Think about the times in your life when something didn't work out, a relationship ended, a job didn't come through, or a dream seemed to slip out of reach. At that moment, it felt like everything was falling apart. But looking back, how often do you realize that it was actually falling into place, that the loss made room for something greater, something you couldn't see at the time? Rejection clears the path for redirection. It's the closing of one chapter so a better one can begin. But here's the catch: you have to let it. Too often, people get stuck in the pain of rejection, holding on to what could have been instead of trusting what could be. They replay the rejection over and over, letting it define them, letting it shrink their vision of what's possible. But rejection isn't meant to diminish you, it's meant to refine you. It's meant to push you to grow, to adapt, and to discover the opportunities you might not have considered. When you're rejected, it's easy to assume you're being denied something you deserved. But maybe it's not about denial, maybe it's about timing. Maybe it's about being protected from something that wasn't right for you, even if you couldn't see it. What feels like a setback is often a setup for something far greater than you imagined. Rejection also teaches resilience. It forces you to confront your fears, your insecurities, and your limitations. It asks you, how badly do you want it? Are you willing to adapt, to pivot, to keep moving forward despite the no? And in that process, you discover strength you didn't know you had. You learn to trust yourself, to believe in your worth, and to keep pursuing what matters to you, even when the world doesn't immediately say yes. There's also freedom in rejection. It frees you from what isn't meant for you. It breaks attachments to the wrong people, the wrong opportunities, and the wrong paths. It's a cleansing process, painful but necessary, to ensure you're not carrying unnecessary baggage into your future. The truth is, rejection isn't personal, it's purposeful. The job that didn't hire you wasn't where you were meant to grow. The person who walked away, they weren't equipped to love you the way you deserve. The dream that didn't manifest, it wasn't the dream that would fulfill you in the way you hoped. Rejection is redirection because it reminds you to trust the process, to trust the timing, and to trust that what is meant for you will find you, not because you forced it, but because you were willing to let go of what wasn't right. Every rejection is a teacher. Every closed door a signpost, guiding you closer to the opportunities that align with your purpose. So when rejection comes, don't resist it. Don't let it define you or diminish you. Instead, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Where is this redirecting me then? Have the courage to follow where it leads. Rejection is not the end of your story, it's the turning of a page. Trust that what lies ahead is better than anything you're leaving behind. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will appreciate your unique qualities, your values, or the way you move through the world, and that's okay. You're not meant to fit into every mold, to please every person, or to be liked by everyone. Trying to do so will only dilute who you truly are and rob the world of your authenticity. Being yourself means embracing your individuality, your quirks, and your imperfections. But when you try to appeal to everyone, you inevitably start to compromise those things. You become a version of yourself that's tailored to others' expectations instead of living as the fullest, truest expression of who you are. The result, you lose touch with yourself, and despite your efforts, you'll still never be enough for everyone. You're not for everyone. And that's a good thing. The world is full of diversity, diverse perspectives, preferences, and experiences. This means that not everyone is going to resonate with your energy, your style, or your choices. Some people won't understand your goals or support your journey. Some will judge you or dismiss you, not because there's anything wrong with you, but because you're simply not their match. This is not a flaw in you, nor is it a flaw in them. It's just life. It's alignment. The same way not every key fits every lock. Not every person will fit into your life, and you won't fit into theirs. That's not rejection. That's redirection toward the people and opportunities that truly align with your values and purpose. The truth is, you're not here to be universally accepted. You're here to be yourself. And when you embrace that, you free yourself from the exhausting pursuit of validation. You stop bending over backward to meet other people's standards and start setting your own. You stop chasing approval and start attracting the right people, the ones who see your worth, who understand your heart, and who genuinely value what you bring to the table. When you accept that you're not for everyone, you learn the power of boundaries. You stop giving your energy to relationships and situations that drain you or force you to compromise who you are. You begin to prioritize authenticity over acceptance, quality over quantity, and self-respect over people-pleasing. This doesn't mean you don't care about others or that you become indifferent to connection. It means you understand that true connection can only happen when you're showing up as yourself. Pretending to be something you're not may win temporary approval, but it will never lead to lasting fulfillment. It's important to remember that just as you're not for everyone, not everyone is for you. There will be people whose energy, values, or goals don't align with yours, and that's okay too. Letting go of the need to force connections opens space for the right ones to flourish. This understanding also brings freedom. It frees you from the burden of trying to control how others see you. You realize that other people's opinions of you are not your responsibility, and their acceptance is not your goal. Your goal is to live authentically, to follow your own path, and to contribute to the world in a way that feels true to you. When you embrace the fact that you're not for everyone, you step into a place of self-assurance. You stop chasing what isn't meant for you, and you begin to attract the people, opportunities, and experiences that are aligned with your truth. You find your tribe, the ones who love you not in spite of your differences, but because of them. The beauty of this realization is that it allows you to give others the same grace. When someone doesn't resonate with you, you don't take it personally. You don't see it as a reflection of your worth. Instead, you understand that it's simply a matter of alignment, and you let go with peace and gratitude, trusting that both of you are better off finding your true matches. You are unique for a reason. You have gifts, perspectives, and a purpose that are distinctly yours. Embrace that, own it, celebrate it, because the world doesn't need more people who fit in, it needs more people who stand out. And the ones who are meant to walk beside you on this journey, they'll find you not because you chase them, but because you stay true to yourself. Seeking approval can feel natural. From a young age, we're conditioned to look outside ourselves for validation. Parents, teachers, friends, and eventually colleagues or partners. We learn to associate approval with success, worthiness, and acceptance. But the pursuit of approval can become a trap, one that keeps you tethered to the expectations and opinions of others, rather than living in alignment with your own values and desires. When you chase approval, you hand over control of your sense of self to others. Your confidence rises and falls based on whether someone says yes to you, likes your idea, or applauds your choices. You give them the power to determine your worth, and in doing so, you weaken your own ability to define it. The danger lies in this: no matter how much approval you receive, it's never enough. The satisfaction it brings is fleeting, like a drop of water in a desert. The moment it's gone, you're thirsty again, needing another fix. The trap of approval lies in its insatiability. It's a cycle that drains you, pulling you further from yourself. You begin to mold your actions, your words, even your personality to fit what you think others want to see. You suppress your own voice, fearing it might not resonate with the crowd. You start living for the applause instead of for the authenticity. And the irony is, the more you chase approval, the harder it becomes to receive genuine respect. People sense when someone is trying too hard to please, and it often leads to the opposite effect, a lack of true connection and respect. Approval seeking is a mask. It hides your real self because you're so busy trying to fit someone else's idea of who you should be. But here's the truth: the people who truly matter in your life, the ones who will stand by you, support you, and love you for who you are, don't need the mask. They don't need you to twist yourself into a version that's palatable or pleasing to them. In fact, they prefer you unfiltered, even if it means you don't always agree, or you stand out in ways that make others uncomfortable. Living for approval often leads to compromise of your values, your boundaries, and your dreams. You say yes when you mean no. You agree to things that don't feel right because you're afraid of disappointing someone. You stay silent when you should speak up because you fear conflict or rejection. Over time, these small compromises add up and they take a toll. You begin to lose sight of who you are and what truly matters to you. Breaking free from the trap of approval requires a shift in perspective. It starts with realizing that your worth isn't up for debate. It isn't something that can be measured by likes, compliments, or external validation. Your worth is intrinsic. It comes from within, from the simple fact that you exist. Once you understand this, you begin to see approval for what it really is: a bonus, not a necessity. When you stop seeking approval, you start seeking alignment. You begin making choices that resonate with your values, your goals, and your authentic self. You prioritize inner peace over external applause. And something amazing happens. The need for approval fades, and in its place comes self-respect. You start to feel confident not because others approve of you, but because you approve of yourself. This doesn't mean you stop caring about others or become indifferent to relationships. It means you engage with people from a place of authenticity, not desperation. You value feedback, but you don't let it define you. You listen to opinions, but you filter them through your own sense of truth. You become free to build deeper, more meaningful connections because you're no longer trying to manipulate how others see you. Freedom from the trap of approval also opens the door to courage. You're willing to take risks, to try things that might not be popular, to say what needs to be said, even if it's not what others want to hear. You become less afraid of failure because you're not measuring your success by how others react. Instead, you measure it by whether you stay true to yourself. The path to avoiding the trap of approval isn't always easy. It requires you to sit with discomfort, to face rejection, and to trust that your value isn't diminished by someone else's inability to see it. But the reward is priceless. You gain the freedom to live authentically, the strength to stand by your convictions, and the joy of knowing that you are enough just as you are. Discernment is one of the most powerful tools you possess. It's the ability to judge wisely, to see beyond the surface, and to make choices that align with your values, purpose, and well-being. It's not about being judgmental, it's about being intentional. Discernment is what allows you to filter through the noise of the world, separate the meaningful from the meaningless, and focus on what truly matters. Without it, you risk being pulled in every direction, wasting your time, energy, and potential on things that don't serve you. In a world filled with endless opinions, opportunities, and distractions, discernment is your compass. It helps you navigate life's complexities with clarity and confidence. It empowers you to recognize what's real and authentic versus what's superficial or deceptive. Discernment isn't just about making decisions, it's about making the right decisions for you, ones that are rooted in wisdom rather than impulse, alignment rather than approval, and purpose rather than convenience. One of the greatest aspects of discernment is knowing where to place your energy and trust. Not every opportunity is worth pursuing, not every battle is worth fighting, and not every person is worth giving your heart to. Discernment teaches you to step back and evaluate, does this align with my values? Does this bring me closer to my goals? Does this reflect the kind of life I want to build? When you start asking these questions, you stop saying yes to everything and everyone, and you begin to protect your time and energy for what truly matters. Discernment also helps you recognize red flags before they become full-blown problems. It sharpens your intuition, allowing you to sense when something feels off, even if you can't immediately explain why. This can apply to relationships, business deals, or even your own habits. Discernment is the quiet voice that says, pause, reflect, don't rush into this. It's the voice that keeps you from making costly mistakes simply because you were too eager, too trusting, or too afraid to say no. But discernment isn't just about avoiding the wrong things, it's about embracing the right ones. It helps you recognize opportunities that might not seem obvious at first glance. It allows you to see potential where others see obstacles, to recognize value where others see insignificance, and to take risks that others might avoid because you understand their deeper purpose. Discernment sharpens your vision, helping you see beyond the immediate and into the long term. Developing discernment requires self-awareness. You need to know who you are, what you stand for, and what you're striving toward. Without this clarity, it's easy to be swayed by external pressures or to make decisions based on fleeting emotions. When you're grounded in your values, discernment becomes second nature. You begin to recognize what aligns with your truth and what doesn't, and you have the confidence to act accordingly, even when it's difficult. Another critical aspect of discernment is learning to listen, not just to others, but to yourself. Discernment requires quiet moments of reflection, times when you can tune out the noise of the world and truly hear your inner voice. It's about paying attention to your instincts, your feelings, and your inner wisdom. It's about trusting yourself to know what's right, even when the path isn't clear or when others might disagree. Discernment also teaches you the power of patience. Sometimes the best decision is no decision at all, at least not yet. Rushing often leads to mistakes, while waiting allows clarity to emerge. Discernment helps you understand that not everything needs an immediate answer, and that taking the time to reflect and observe can lead to far better outcomes. In relationships, discernment is essential. It helps you choose the people who uplift and inspire you, who respect your boundaries and values, and who bring out the best in you. It also helps you recognize when a relationship, no matter how comfortable or familiar, is no longer serving you. Discernment isn't about being cold or detached, it's about being wise and intentional with your heart. In your career, discernment helps you navigate opportunities and challenges with focus and purpose. It helps you decide when to take a risk and when to hold steady, when to speak up and when to listen, and when to walk away from something that no longer aligns with your goals. It keeps you from being swayed by temporary rewards or pressures and helps you stay true to your long-term vision. Discernment isn't something you're born with, it's a skill you develop through experience, reflection, and growth. Every mistake you've made, every challenge you've faced, and every lesson you've learned has been an opportunity to sharpen your discernment. It's not about being perfect, it's about learning from the past and using that wisdom to make better choices in the future. When you cultivate discernment, you step into a life of intentionality. You stop drifting and start steering. You stop reacting and start responding. You begin to live with a sense of purpose and clarity, knowing that every decision you make is bringing you closer to the life you're meant to live. Discernment is your power. Use it wisely, and it will guide you to a life that's not just successful, but deeply fulfilling. Letting go is one of the most challenging yet liberating acts you could ever undertake. It's a process that asks for courage, patience, and trust, but in return, it opens the door to freedom, growth, and peace. Holding on feels safe because it's familiar, predictable, and often tied to your sense of identity, but when you cling too tightly to what no longer serves you, you stop yourself from stepping into the life you're meant to live. Letting go doesn't mean giving up, it means moving on. It's not about defeat, but about releasing the weight of what's holding you back. Whether it's a toxic relationship, a past failure, an unfulfilled expectation, or even a version of yourself you've outgrown, holding on to it keeps you stuck. It creates resistance, drains your energy, and limits your potential. To embrace letting go is to make space for healing, for new opportunities, and for the growth that comes when you're no longer tethered to the past. One of the greatest barriers to letting go is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of loss, fear that if you let go, nothing better will take its place. But holding on out of fear only prolongs the pain. It ties you to what was instead of freeing you to embrace what could be. Letting go requires trust in yourself, trust in the process, and trust that life has something greater in store for you if you're willing to release what's no longer aligned with your path. Letting go also demands honesty. It requires you to face hard truths about what's truly serving you and what's not. Sometimes you hold on to people or situations because of the effort you've invested in them or because you believe things might still change. But staying attached out of habit or hope can trap you in cycles of frustration and disappointment. Letting go is an act of self-respect. It's recognizing when enough is enough and choosing to prioritize your peace and well-being over the illusion of control. Another challenge in letting go is the attachment to what could have been. You might replay scenarios in your mind, imagining how things might have turned out differently, but living in the realm of what if is a trap. It keeps you tied to a version of reality that doesn't exist, stealing your ability to fully engage with the present. Letting go means accepting what is rather than holding on to what you wished it could be. It's about choosing reality over fantasy and choosing to move forward rather than staying stuck in the past. Letting go also means releasing the need for closure. Sometimes you won't get the apology you deserve. Sometimes you won't understand why things happened the way they did. And sometimes the answers you seek simply don't exist. True closure doesn't come from someone else, it comes from within. It comes from deciding that your peace is more important than holding on to the need for explanations or resolutions. When you embrace letting go, you also embrace forgiveness, not just for others, but for yourself. Forgiveness isn't about excusing bad behavior or pretending something didn't hurt you. It's about choosing not to let the pain define you or control your future. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, a way to release the emotional baggage that weighs you down. It allows you to reclaim your power and move forward with an open hope and heart. Letting go isn't always a grand, dramatic act. Often it's a series of small decisions made every day. It's the decision to stop checking on someone who's no longer in your life. It's the decision to stop replaying that painful conversation in your head. It's the decision to stop clinging to an outcome you can't control. Each small act of release is a step toward freedom, a step toward reclaiming your energy and focus. Letting go creates space. When your hands are full, you can't receive. When your mind is cluttered with old thoughts, you can't create new ideas. When your heart is heavy with the weight of the past, you can't fully embrace the present. By letting go, you open yourself to the possibilities that were always there but couldn't take root because you were holding on to something else. It's important to understand that letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean erasing your memories or pretending that what happened didn't matter. It means choosing not to let those memories control you. It's about honoring the lessons and growth that came from those experiences while releasing the pain and attachment that keep you stuck. Letting go is a process, not a one-time event. It's something you practice, something you commit to each day. Some days it will feel easy, other days it will feel impossible. But with each step, you grow stronger. With each release, You move closer to the life you deserve, a life free from the weight of what no longer serves you. The act of letting go is an act of faith, faith in yourself, faith in the process, and faith that what's meant for you will never miss you. It's about trusting that when you release what's not for you, you make room for something better. And in that space of trust, you find not only freedom, but also the strength and clarity to step into your fullest, most authentic self. Faith and timing is a powerful mindset that requires trust in the unfolding of life. It's the belief that everything happens when it's meant to, not when you demand or expect it. This isn't about complacency or sitting back waiting for miracles. It's about aligning your actions with patience, resilience, and trust in a greater plan. Faith and timing teaches you that while you may not always control the when, you can always trust that the how and why will reveal themselves in time. One of the most challenging aspects of life is accepting that things often don't happen on your schedule. You plan, work hard, and dream big, but delays or setbacks can leave you questioning if you're on the right path. Faith and timing is a reminder that delays don't mean denial. It teaches you that sometimes the wait is part of the process. Sometimes what you're asking for isn't ready for you, or you're not ready for it. Timing isn't just about readiness, it's about alignment. The right thing at the wrong time can still fall apart. Faith and timing asks you to trust that when the time is right, the pieces will fall into place. Faith and timing requires surrender, but not the kind of surrender that comes from defeat. It's an active surrender, a choice to let go of control and trust the process. This doesn't mean giving up on your goals or dreams. It means understanding that your role is to prepare, to persevere, and to stay open while trusting that life will deliver what's meant for you when you're truly ready to receive it. It's also important to recognize that sometimes the things you want most come disguised as challenges or delays. The job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, or the opportunity that passed you by might feel like failure in the moment, but often they're clearing the way for something better. Faith and timing allows you to shift your perspective, to see setbacks not as stop signs, but as detours redirecting you toward a path that aligns more fully with your purpose. When you have faith and timing, you also learn to be present. Instead of anxiously waiting for the next big moment, you begin to focus on what's in front of you. You realize that the journey isn't just a means to an end, it's where life happens. Faith and timing teaches you to appreciate the small steps, the lessons learned along the way, and the growth that occurs as you move through the process. You come to understand that every moment, even the waiting, has value. Having faith and timing also means trusting that the opportunities meant for you won't pass you by. What's truly aligned with your purpose will find its way to you, often in ways you couldn't have predicted. This doesn't mean you won't face challenges or that things will always come easily. It means that when you stay true to your path, the right doors will open at the right time. The waiting isn't a punishment, it's preparation. Patience plays a key role in having faith and timing. Patience doesn't mean sitting idle, it means staying committed to your vision while allowing life to unfold at its own pace. It's about recognizing that the timing you want may not be the timing you need. Sometimes growth takes longer than you expect. Sometimes the lesson you're learning in the waiting period is more important than the outcome itself. Faith and timing helps you see that patience isn't passive, it's a form of strength and resilience. Trusting in timing also fosters resilience because it teaches you to navigate uncertainty without losing hope. Life is unpredictable and the path to your goals is rarely a straight line. Faith and timing helps you weather the storms, knowing that even in the midst of chaos, there's a greater plan at work. It reminds you that setbacks aren't the end of the story, they're just a chapter. One of the most beautiful aspects of faith and timing is that it creates space for gratitude. When you stop fixating on what hasn't happened yet, you begin to notice and appreciate all that you already have. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from frustration to fulfillment. It allows you to see that while you're waiting for what's next. There's so much to celebrate in the now. Finally, faith and timing is an act of humility. It's acknowledging that while you can plan and prepare, there are forces at work beyond your control. It's about recognizing that life often knows what you need better than you do. This humility doesn't diminish your power, it enhances it. It frees you from the need to force outcomes and allows you to focus on what you can control: your actions, your mindset, and your attitude. Faith and timing is a practice, not a one-time decision. It's something you cultivate over time, especially when life tests your patience or challenges your trust. But the more you embrace it, the more peace, clarity, and confidence you'll find. You'll begin to see that life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. And when you trust in that, you unlock the power to move forward with grace, no matter when it unfolds. Settling carries a cost far greater than most people realize. At first, it might feel like a compromise, a way to avoid discomfort or conflict, but over time, settling can erode your sense of self, drain your energy, and leave you with a life that feels unfulfilled and incomplete. The cost of settling isn't paid all at once. It accumulates quietly, moment by moment, decision by decision, until one day you look around and wonder how you ended up so far from the life you once envisioned. When you settle, you trade your potential for comfort or convenience. You accept less than what you know you're capable of or deserving of because striving for more feels too uncertain or risky. Settling might seem like the safe choice, but safety comes at a price. It often means suppressing your true desires, silencing your voice, or shrinking yourself to fit into a box that wasn't designed for you. The longer you settle, the more you lose touch with your dreams, your passions, and the parts of yourself that make you unique. One of the most significant costs of settling is the loss of authenticity. When you accept less than what aligns with your values and aspirations, you begin to live a life that doesn't feel like your own. You make choices based on fear, obligation, or the expectations of others rather than staying true to your own path. Over time, this disconnection from your authentic self can lead to feelings of dissatisfaction, frustration, and even resentment. You might find yourself wondering why you feel stuck or unfulfilled, not realizing that the root cause is your decision to settle. Settling also limits your growth. Growth requires challenge, discomfort, and sometimes even failure. When you settle, you avoid these experiences, choosing instead to stay within your comfort zone. While this might feel easier in the short term, it prevents you from discovering your full potential. It's in the pursuit of more knowledge, more skill, more purpose that you uncover strengths and abilities you didn't know you had. Settling denies you the chance to grow into the person you're meant to be. Another hidden cost of settling is the opportunity you miss. Every time you settle for less than you deserve, you close the door to possibilities that could have been. You might settle for a job that doesn't challenge you, missing out on a career that could ignite your passion. You might settle for a relationship that feels comfortable but lacks depth, missing out on a connection that could truly fulfill you. Settling for what's convenient or familiar often means saying no to what's extraordinary. The cost of settling also shows up in your relationships. When you settle in how you allow others to treat you, you teach them that it's acceptable to disregard your boundaries or take you for granted. Over time, this can erode your self-esteem and create unhealthy dynamics. Conversely, when you settle for relationships that don't truly nourish you, whether out of fear of being alone or a belief that you don't deserve better, you deprive yourself of the chance to experience the deep, meaningful connections you're capable of having. Settling can also create a ripple effect, impacting not just your present but your future. Each time you settle, you reinforce a mindset of scarcity, telling yourself that what you have is good enough or that you shouldn't expect more. This mindset can become a habit, influencing future decisions and making it harder to break free from patterns of mediocrity. Over time, the cumulative effect of settling can leave you with a life that feels far smaller than the one you're capable of living. Perhaps the most profound cost of settling is the regret it can lead to. Regret often doesn't come from failing, it comes from never trying. It comes from wondering what could have been if only you had held out for something more, if only you had taken the risk, if only you had believed in your worth. The pain of regret is compounded by the knowledge that you had a choice, that you could have demanded more but chose not to. Settling might feel easier in the moment, but the weight of regret can last a lifetime. Breaking free from the habit of settling requires courage. It means being willing to face discomfort, uncertainty, and even rejection in pursuit of what you truly want. It means holding yourself to a higher standard and refusing to accept less than what aligns with your values and aspirations. It means trusting that you are worthy of more and that the effort it takes to pursue it is worth it. Refusing to settle doesn't mean you'll always get exactly what you want when you want it. It means you're committed to staying true to yourself, even when the path is difficult. It means you're willing to wait for the right opportunities, the right relationships, and the right circumstances rather than settling for what's merely good enough. It's not about perfection, it's about alignment. When you refuse to settle, you create a life that feels authentic, purposeful, and deeply fulfilling. The cost of settling is high, but it's never too late to choose differently. Every moment is an opportunity to raise your standards, to walk away from what no longer serves you, and to step into the life you were meant to live. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Because in the end, the greatest cost isn't what you lose by striving for more, it's what you lose by settling for less. Choosing yourself first is one of the most empowering decisions you can make in your life. It's the act of prioritizing your own needs, desires, and well-being over the demands and expectations of others. It's not about being selfish or disregarding others. It's about recognizing that in order to give your best to the world, you must first take care of yourself. When you choose yourself first, you reclaim your power, your peace, and your purpose. It's the foundation of living a life that is authentic, aligned with your values, and filled with purpose. At the core of choosing yourself is understanding that you are worthy of love, care, and respect, not because of what you do for others, but because of who you are. Many people fall into the trap of believing that their worth is dependent on their ability to serve or please others. They give and give, often at the expense of their own well-being, because they think that's what is expected or that it will make them more deserving of love and appreciation. But the truth is, when you continually neglect your own needs, you are giving away your power. You start to lose touch with who you are, what you want, and what truly matters to you. Choosing yourself first doesn't mean abandoning others or being indifferent to their needs. It means setting healthy boundaries, recognizing that your well-being is just as important as anyone else's. It means giving yourself permission to say no when something doesn't align with your values or goals. When you choose yourself first, you stop overextending yourself in ways that drain you. You learn to say yes to what nourishes you and no to what depletes you. It's important to remember that choosing yourself is not a one-time decision, but a daily practice. Every day you are presented with choices that ask you to either put yourself first or put someone else's needs before your own. These choices might be as small as taking a break when you're feeling overwhelmed, or as big as ending a relationship or leaving a job that no longer serves you. Each time you choose yourself, you reinforce your belief in your own worth and your commitment to living a life that is true to you. Choosing yourself first is also about honoring your own dreams and aspirations. Too often, people get caught up in the expectations of others, whether from family, society, or peers, and lose sight of their own vision. They make choices based on what others think is best for them rather than what they truly want. When you choose yourself, you stop seeking external validation and begin to trust in your own inner guidance. You start to listen to your heart, your intuition, and your passions, allowing them to lead you toward the life you're meant to live. Choosing yourself first also means taking responsibility for your own happiness. Many people fall into the trap of thinking that happiness depends on others, on a partner, a job, or circumstances outside their control. But true happiness comes from within. When you choose yourself, you recognize that you are the creator of your own joy, and you take responsibility for nurturing your own well-being. This doesn't mean you won't face challenges or hardships, but it means that you choose to approach life from a place of empowerment, knowing that your happiness is ultimately in your hands. There's also a profound impact on your relationships when you choose yourself first. People often worry that setting boundaries or prioritizing their own needs will alienate those they care about. But the truth is, when you choose yourself, you show up as the best version of yourself in all of your relationships. You have more energy, more clarity, and more love to give when you've taken the time to nurture your own soul. By choosing yourself, you model healthy self-care and self-respect, and you give others permission to do the same. It creates a ripple effect, allowing everyone around you to thrive. Choosing yourself first also requires letting go of guilt. Many people feel guilty about taking time for themselves or making decisions that are in their own best interest, especially if it's perceived as being at the expense of others. But self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. If you don't care for yourself, you won't have the capacity to care for others in the long run. Letting go of guilt means recognizing that you are worthy of your own attention and love. It means embracing the truth that taking care of yourself is not selfish, but necessary for your growth and happiness. The more you choose yourself, the more you start to trust yourself. You begin to build confidence in your decisions and your ability to navigate life's challenges. You stop second-guessing yourself and start listening to your inner wisdom. Choosing yourself first allows you to reconnect with your intuition, the part of you that knows what's best, even when the external world is chaotic. You become more grounded in who you are and what you want, and you stop letting fear or doubt dictate your choices. Choosing yourself first is also about creating balance in your life. When you are constantly putting others before yourself, you risk burning out. You can become overwhelmed, resentful, and disconnected from your own desires. By choosing yourself, you create space for rest, relaxation, and renewal. You allow yourself the time to recharge so that you can show up as your best self in all areas of your life, your career, your relationships, and your personal pursuits. In the end, choosing yourself first is about empowerment. It's about claiming your life, your joy, and your peace. It's about stepping into the fullness of who you are, unapologetically and without hesitation. When you choose yourself, you choose a life that is authentic, meaningful, and aligned with your highest potential. And when you choose yourself, you give others the gift of seeing what's possible when you live in alignment with your true self. It's not just about you, it's about the impact you have on the world when you're living in your full power. In conclusion, the journey to living a life that is true to you begins with the simple yet profound decision to choose yourself. It's about recognizing your worth, prioritizing your well-being, and having the courage to step into your fullest potential. By choosing yourself first, you free yourself from the chains of others' expectations, the weight of settling for less, and the fear of what's unknown. You begin to live from a place of strength, authenticity, and clarity, knowing that by honoring your own needs, you empower those around you to do the same. Choosing yourself doesn't mean neglecting others or being selfish. It means recognizing that in order to give your best to the world, you must first give your best to yourself. It's in this alignment, this balance, that true growth, fulfillment, and happiness are found. So take a moment today to reflect on where you are settling, where you are neglecting yourself, and where you can step into a more empowered version of who you are meant to be. Your life, your dreams, your happiness all begin with the decision to choose yourself first. And in that choice, you'll discover a world of endless possibilities, not just for you, but for everyone you touch.